Hey there, and welcome to a very improvised episode of Things of Interest. It is July 29th, 2022 as I record this, and this is going to be a very unscripted video. I know I usually reserve the unscripted stuff for the second channel, and you can watch a bunch of unscripted stuff on there right now, but this thing we're taking a look at here today is interesting enough that I want to give it its own video on the main channel, and I also want to have my raw reaction, which is why I'm like holding this camera here, and you can see my table and everything. And also, I want to apologize for there not being a lot of activity on my main channel recently. Work has been a little bit rough. There's been quite a bit on my plate. I don't mean I don't enjoy the work, but, you know, sometimes life do be like that, so I do apologize for that. But I'm working on stuff when I can, so there's that. But recently, a few weeks ago, I went onto Yahoo Japan Auctions and found a thing for sale or for auction. I figured, hey, this is a chance for me to take a thing off my bucket list, basically. So here here is a Sega Naomi. This is one of Sega's arcade hardware that was based on the Dreamcast. This is the cartridge slot. There's a bunch of stuff in here. I believe this has been billed as working, and this has been shipped to me from Japan. A lot of stuff has been pretty clean in here. Now, of course, I am not an arcade hardware aficionado. This is like the first piece of arcade hardware I've ever tried to mess around with. So I am taking a look at this from the perspective of a complete noob. So I know there are probably going to be people, arcade fans, watching this video foaming at the mouth, like trying to figure out, oh, you're doing something wrong, but hopefully I'm doing this the right way. If not, I'm sorry. But you may be asking, why am I getting? You're not asking why I'm getting a Sega Naomi, because you know, if I can grab this over here, this is a game cart for the arcade version of Rhythm Tengoku. So my history with the Rhythm Tengoku arcade game was that I actually did manage to see a cabinet in person when I was on like a trip to Japan all the way back in 2016, 2017, I believe. And I did manage to play 2 rounds of games on it before we were forced to leave, and I've never seen one ever again. So this is kind of like one of the chances for me. Like, one of my bucket list items is to kind of like be able to own the game. But of course, the arcade game itself is freaking expensive, and I am not going to be paying my like entire life savings for one of them. So the next best thing would be to actually, you know, just get the game, the system that the arcade system the game's on, and the game itself, and try to figure out if I can figure out. Can you tell this is unscripted? Anyway, trying to figure out a way to hook this up to, you know, my monitor and just play it at home. So here we are. So right now I do have the console, the game, and this very cruddy power adapter. I bought this from China, mainland China. Now, this is not an official power adapter, but I did get it for very cheap. I believe this is like someone converting like a regular computer PSU into one that supports the Sega Naomi. Now, over here you might see there's a whole bunch of electric tape on here. I'm going to show you a picture of what this looked like when I first got it. Yikes! So in case this... I don't want this to kill me, that's for sure, but I was also not sure if this was going to work. The person who was selling this listed it as working, so I took their word for it. And I did plug this in beforehand, before recording this, just to make sure it didn't actually blow up, and the fan started spinning. So I'd wager that is good news, but I am not going to be touching this a whole lot when I'm trying to get this working. These 2 cables on the end here, I assume, you know, just plug into the console directly at the back. And over here is just a little regular computer plug. It does take 220 volts. This is a very weird angle to look at it, but yep, it supports the Hong Kong voltage. So I am just going to plug this into the Naomi because I have not done this before, and hopefully it will not blow up. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Now, I think I should probably also mention what some of the stuff on the back does. Obviously, these 2 are for the power, and then it outputs like audio through these like composite cables and uses VGA as the screen output, I believe. And over here is where you're supposed to plug in the controllers, which I actually currently do not have any, which might be a problem, but like the main thing I wanted to see is whether or not these 3 parts that I sourced from completely different places work together. So I'm gonna do that first, and then after we're 100% sure that this is working, then I will figure out a controller solution and then record another video within like a few months or a few weeks. I don't know how long this will take. It's July 29th as I record this, so you guys might be seeing this like a couple months later. Anyway, yeah, we're just gonna hook this up and see if it works. Alright, so here is the hookup. The Naomi is connected to my monitor over here through VGA, as well as the 2 little composite audio cables. These 2 power cables are connected to this very haphazard power supply. I promise I'll try and find a better one after this, but I only have this one for testing, so this will have to do. And this connects over there, which is not turned on yet. Yeah. I hope I don't burn my house down, or I don't fry this Naomi. I haven't plugged in the game cartridge yet, just in case the worst happens. So I know it probably will show something even if there's no game cartridge inside. So fingers crossed. I think these should be plugged in properly. Okay, I'm gonna go switch it on. I'm gonna scoot over to the right side, and I'm gonna turn it on in 3, 2, 1. I see lights inside. Oh my god! Okay, it's on. It's on. This game is not accepted by my main. There's nothing plugged in it. Okay. I don't think there's like a power button in here. At least I don't think there is. So I'm gonna turn it off with my foot. Okay. It did not blow up, so that's a good sign. I am going to take this Rhythm Tengoku cartridge and plug it in here. This should be good. I hope there's no problems with this. Anyway, here we go. There's nothing on the screen. It is on. Yeah, there's just nothing. Okay. Let me turn that off. Maybe it's not seated in there correctly. I haven't really like cleaned the pins. I was assuming this would work because it looks pretty clean to me, but I guess we'll try that again, see what happens. Test 2 in 3, 2, 1. Huh. My hands are all sweaty. I can't really remove this cartridge out. Oops. Okay. Let me just double check that it runs without the cartridge inserted, just to be sure. What? That is weird. It just kind of stopped giving me a screen for some reason. The connection should be fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Okay, I just like plugged everything out and then plugged everything back in again, and the screen started showing again, so I'm just gonna turn it off and then turn it on again just to make sure there's nothing wrong with it. Come on, there we go. Okay, let's try this again. This should work. All right. What? All I did was plug the cartridge in. Why is it like... That is so weird. Hold on a second. I think we got something. Wait. We got a thing. But yeah. So it says caution 51 game assignments are incorrect. Set correctly in system assignments of test mode. I mean, I would, but you know, I have nothing to use to control this. So, okay. So turns out, there are 2 buttons here on the back, and if you press this button, it sends you to test mode. So this is how you access the test menu. Let's see what's in here. As you can see, game test mode, Rhythm Tengoku Japan. Yeah, it actually does detect it. But system assignments, and then right button, cabinet type, 1 player. I need to find the correct assignments for this. 1 players, 2 players, 3 players, 4 players. Tengoku is 2 players. Advertise sound, monitor type, horizontal, vertical. Oh, service type, common, individual. I think it's just 2 players. That's all I have to set, right? ROM board test, game test mode. It froze. Wait. Oh my god. Oh, this is the test mode for Rhythm Tengoku. So I can input, output. Okay. This is not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to exit. Can I run the game normally? This is my question. Just exit? Okay. IO board is not connected to Naomi board. So what I assume that is, are the controllers. Let me turn. So now I am legitimately missing the controllers I need to play this. But it does seem to detect the game cartridge. So that's all good. Yeah, so I guess that's just the last step I need. Yeah, I just have to figure this out. So I will see you guys. I don't know when I don't know when I'll do another recording, but I'll see you guys when I get a solution. Okay, I need to stop saying I'll see you guys in like a month or 2 because I still need to like mess around with the system menus, just see what's in here. I don't want to mess anything like too hard, obviously, but there is some stuff we can see here, like RAM test. Good. But we got to test our console. It's never tested. Okay, I think it's stuck. Let me. Oh wait, no, it's going. This is gonna take a while. If those 4 can finish testing at any second now, that would be very appreciated. There we go. So yeah, RAM test works. Test wanted to exit. I guess there's also sound test. I don't know how whack. There's no CRT, obviously, so let's see what the sound test is. Oh yeah, I should see if the left-right speakers are on. I mean, it's probably my composite like wire setup is a little bit wonky, so right speaker works. Wow, that actually works. Never mind. Coin assignments, coin shoot type common. Can I have free play on here? Oh, I think like there's supposed to be like the cursor on the left, but I wonder if CRT test actually lets me set the nope, it's just a color test. Yeah, I don't know why the screen it's kind of like stuck on the corner like that. It's probably meant to work with an actual computer monitor, if I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, ROM board test. I mean, let's test see if our ROM is any good. This is gonna take another while. There we go. I spared you the trouble of having to sift through me sped up like a chipmunk. Anyway, I suppose we could go into game test mode again because actually, hold on. Before we do that, clock. Wow, it is surprisingly accurate. It is not. Well, actually, let's set the date and time. It is July 29th, I believe, and the hour is it is 37. Okay, here we go. The clock battery is actually pretty easily accessible from inside the system, so if I need to actually ever change that, so that should not be too big of a hassle. But yeah, let's go into game test mode. I don't know if I can test anything without the I/O, like it's probably gonna throw up a warning. But let's just see what's in there. Game assignments, game system information. Rhythm Tengoku, date 2017, July 27th. That's actually very close to. That's a build date, right? Yeah, it's very close to the current date. So happy birthday, Rhythm Tengoku Arcade. Output test, game output test. Oh, so this is okay. So yeah, this is normally hooked up to the actual arcade cabinet that has lights for like the controls and buttons. So this is where you test it. RGB speaker RGB. What does that mean? Game assignments: remix, open, off, single, start game guarantee, continue game guarantee. What is an input test? Oh, test, service. Okay, yeah, so test and service buttons are the 2 buttons on the back, but none of the other player buttons are working right now, so we'll have to fix that. And what's in bookkeeping? Total gameplay 0. Wow. I'm guessing they cleared the data out beforehand? I have no idea. Yeah, every record here is just 0. Number of games each stage was selected, 2-player plays, mini games by 1 play, number of times each stage was cleared. Yeah, there's just nothing here. Backup data clear. You can clear it, but there's nothing there already. And yeah, that's the test mode for Rhythm Tengoku. So yeah, this is basically what I can currently do with the Naomi, with just like 2 funny buttons on the back of it. But yeah, next I need to figure out a controller option for it, because you obviously can't just hook up any old controller to it. You either get a converter for something for the Dreamcast, I guess, or something. I'm still not too knowledgeable on that front, but we will figure something out. So for real this time, I will see you guys in a month or 2. Hello there, it is now 2 months later on September 18th. So yeah, a bunch of things have changed around here. First of all, this thing now has a semi-permanent place on this shelf over here, where I can just place another console on top of it if I need to. And also, I did get a new power adapter for this thing. This is all currently hooked up, but yeah, there's a brand new power adapter, which hopefully is wired a lot safer than the one you just saw. So this one's all hooked up and everything, all the power and sound and video is all hooked up. And actually, I did get a new PC since I last recorded, so now I have like a new setup over here. That's my own monitor, and it was like hooked up to this wall, and I can use a VGA connection on it. But yeah, next thing I had to take care of was the I/O problem that this thing had. So my solution, which I eventually found, was this. This is a JVS to USB adapter that's like being mass-produced in like mainland Chinese sites and something like that. So basically, this thing over here connects to the USB port on the Naomi over here. And this thing will basically just convert the signal to like a USB signal, so I can plug in a wired Xbox One controller, and hopefully it should just work fine. Like the default mapping should work, because all this thing needs is really just a D-pad and button inputs. But yeah, that's basically all I need to use, and it's powered by USB-C. So yeah, the setup's pretty straightforward for this one. No need to like carry one of those like giant Sega official I/O ports and then figure out what plugs into what and what type of accessories I need. No need for all that junk. But yeah, there is one more problem though. Because as you notice, sometimes this thing just does not want to cooperate or boot up, and I did try this out after getting all this stuff working, and sometimes it still shows that kind of problem. Like, sometimes it just refuses to work, and sometimes I just have to wait a while for it to work again. But hopefully, in my upcoming demonstration, this thing should hopefully behave well, and I can show you a few rounds of exclusive content from the arcade version of Rhythm Tengoku. So without further ado, let's go ahead and set everything up. Here's what it looks like all set up. So currently the JVS to USB adapter is currently powered on through USB-C, and there's the green LED on it that lets us know it's basically ready. And there are buttons on the board itself if you want to like configure, like customize the button mappings and everything, but for my purposes, the default mapping will work just fine. And I have a bunch of adapters over here so that this cable will go eventually to this Xbox controller. And as you can see, it's properly lighted up and everything. So yeah, we should be ready to go. And here we go. He's gonna do this little countdown. Rhythm Tengoku version 1.001. I am committing a crime by apparently using this in Hong Kong, so oops. Please don't come after me, Sega. I'm sorry. I'll ditch all my Nintendo hardware. Anyway, Nintendo. So as you can see, there's free play in the corner right now because I did set the game systems beforehand, the game settings beforehand, so that currently I don't have to press a button to enter coins. I can just use it in free play, and there it is. What a time to be alive as a Rhythm Heaven fan, to be able to have this running in the comfort of my own home. Of course, there's nothing compared to using the actual machine with the new controls. I mean, using an Xbox controller, but this is definitely still something. Oh, yeah, something's a little bit messed up with the graphics. Yeah, it's a little bit glitched. It might be a case of some improper contact between the card and the system, but let's see if anything goes wrong when I press start. Okay, 1 player or 2 players. Now currently I do only have 1 controller plugged in, so I'm gonna pick 1 player. I guess as a test we can just do like the most basic stage. We can do Karate Man first. Now normally you have to play every single stage in order to get access to a remix, but I currently have the in-game settings toggled so that the remix is already open for me to select, but we're just gonna go ahead and select Karate Man. So each play gives you like 2 lives, as you can see on the bottom left corner. So every time you play a game, you lose 1 of your lives. And so basically every time you have to replay a stage, you end up, if you run out of lives, you have to insert a new credit. Unless you get a superb or a perfect, in which case, you know, you just get another heart for your troubles. So currently it's teaching me to press A to punch. Terrible, I missed my first shot. Let's just go straight ahead into the game because there's just no rhythm in this practice. Okay. Oh! I'm gonna try to talk during this game, but as you can see, it's basically just everything that's already in the GBA base game is basically replicated here, and now I can go for a perfect. So, probably can't talk. Get free. There we go, got a perfect. So, yeah. Basically, everything from the GBA game is here. And there's now a new ranking because I got a perfect. But yeah, it's generally just everything from the base game, but with upscaled sprites. Nothing too special, but it does have simultaneous multiplayer if you plug in more than 1 controller. I guess now that that's done, my next order would be actually... Oh, I can't quit this level, can I? Well, I guess I have to restart the game. Now, most Rhythm Heaven fans know that the arcade version of Rhythm Tengoku actually does have exclusive content. If I go into the first player menu here, and scroll all the way past to stage 6, it gives you like a warning like, hey, these are like more difficult stages, you should probably play the previous ones first, but we're a pro gamer, so we're gonna go straight to this one, which is the tempo up line. The dreaded tempo up line. So the first time I actually went to Japan and actually saw this machine in person, I tried the tempo up line and then got my butt immediately kicked. As you can tell, it's basically just the first stages, but with the tempo dialed way up, and it is harder than it looks on an actual arcade cap because the buttons are large and you're like surrounded with dozens of other rhythm game machines and the noise is like a heck of a mess and you have trouble concentrating. But here, well, you know, I'm in the comfort of my own home with an Xbox controller. I can, you know, kind of just clear every single stage here. So I'm just going to give you, like, a simple glimpse of what each of these games are like. Oh boy, here we go.
Hey, baby. How's it going?
Though, these remixes are definitely bangers.
Hey, baby. Listen to my beat. I can give you a sense of rhythm.
Nice. But yeah, there are videos online on YouTube basically showing all of these tempo up games, but I would just give you a small glimpse of each of them. And if you're interested, you can probably go on YouTube and check out more, maybe direct feed footage of these games or something, because of course not a lot of Rhythm Heaven fans have probably played these levels. So here we go. Oh, Tweezer's tempo up. This is probably gonna be heck. This is gonna be literal hell with like the original controls. Your hands are just going to be slamming on the controls real hard. Ah! Good. Good job, me. Well, I missed like 2 shots in there, so that's probably okay for me because this game is from Tengoku. of course. And as you can see, I did not get an additional heart from that because I did not get a superb. So, gotta keep going. 1 heart left. I'm only allowed to mess up once more. But then again, I have infinite credits. Also, there's no, like, input lag on these at all. I mean, it's basically just a VGA connection, so I doubt there'd be a lot of input lag, especially for an arcade game, but, in an ideal scenario, I would have a CRT to play this on, but, yeah, whether I will eventually build, like, a custom cabinet with CRTs and dedicated controls and all, that will be a story for another time. Moving on. Very nice. That's another perfect. Also, you can only go back and replay stages that you like get less than a superb on. So I can only replay the one stage I got an okay on. But moving on. I love how it just abruptly stops there. And also, it's a bit hard to give commentary while you're playing a rhythm game, so apologies for the random cuts. But, here we are. I do wonder if someone's actually ported the high-speed versions of these games over to something like Megamix. I mean, it should theoretically be possible, and I'd be surprised if someone hasn't done it at this point. But here we go, Remix 1. I'm probably just going to show this entire thing because it is a doozy. So, here's hoping I don't mess up. Oh boy, yeah. That was a perfect Tempo Up Remix 1. I think that's what it's called officially. I have no idea, but we did it. Chicken, rooster, whatever. And once you finish an entire set of stages, you get a congratulations screen. And also, oh, yep, I got first place. I think that 130.95 is my score, so I can register my name. Unfortunately, no English inputs from what I can tell, so I will have to make do with star music symbol monkey. There we go. That's my name. Star music symbol monkey. 140.95 is my final rhythm score. And there you go. The game ends there unless you decide to give it more quarters. And yeah, that is the arcade version of Rhythm Tengoku. If you sit around on the screen, actually something interesting starts to happen. So it cycles through the leaderboards, gives you like a game demo where the demo player is like terrible at the game. and eventually you get to actually mess with one of the Rhythm toys without even needing to insert a credit, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, even though this thing might not be like 100% in working order, it is still very cool to just have the ability to like play this in the comfort of my own home. And fun fact, the grand total, I did the calculations, the grand total of everything that I've spent getting the Naomi, getting the cart, and then all the adapters and power adapters and the price to ship them all to Hong Kong, basically excluding the Xbox controller that I already had, came down to just about $400 US, which is actually still way cheaper than how much the game cartridge on its own is selling for on eBay apparently. So I guess I got a good deal there. Oh hey, the graphics are fine now. Yeah, that was weird. I'm imagining the problems that I have been having with the cartridge itself is probably just some improper contact. But I'm not sure if that's the case, since now it's running just fine. There was like one time when I was initially testing it that it like froze in the middle of a game, and the music kept playing even though the game froze. It's very weird. But you know, I guess that's what you can expect with arcade hardware. But yeah. That will be it for this quick little improvised things of interest on the Rhythm Tengoku arcade machine. Hope you enjoyed this quick little look at it, and I will see you guys next time. Stay safe and take care.